All right, Buffs Nation. What is going on? This is an impromptu live stream, but I've been wanting to get on here today. Again, it took earlier this week to, of course, celebrate what was going on here in Denver with the Nuggets taking on their first NBA championship, and just incredible. But I've had a couple days to really enjoy that, recover, from all the excitement. And on a side note, I've been preparing for like a pretty huge job interview that could be life changing in some ways. So all that has been taken care of. Hey, Nesmo, it's good to see you. All that's been taken care of. Yeah, I had like a 3-hour interview today, and glad been prepping for that. All that was taken care of, and but man, I wanted to get on here and just talk about the culture. I think coming from a local Coloradan perspective, but there's just so many parallels to draw from this team that Coach Prime is building, and with what we've seen, the Nuggets, really great team basketball where there isn't ego involved. There isn't people needing their points and stats. What's going on, Patricia, Cheryl C, Aaron? Like everybody's in the house. Good to see all of y'all. There's not ego, and they play selfless. They play a selfless team game in which the sum is greater than the individual parts themselves, and they've done it in a way in which when you have come to Denver, I mean, that is, you buy into the culture, the way of doing things and how they do it. And I really do think one thing that put this Nuggets team over the top is the fact that there were so many doubters and haters, different reasons than what we see going on with Colorado and Coach Prime. It's not because there's a lack of exposure on the Colorado program. We all know that, as opposed to the Nuggets. But what I'm trying to get at is that there is going to be a collective chip on this team's shoulder, and you cannot discount what that does to a team when they are collectively doubted from a national media standpoint. And I mean, I couldn't think of a better coach to guide this team into this storm this year than somebody like Coach Prime, who's already been through it, who's lived it, who's succeeded, who knows what it takes, who has higher expectations than many of the fans, including myself. That any of the critics. This team is they're going to be mentally tough. They're all coming in having been doubted at some level, whether something didn't work out at their school, or with Shador, which is just insane. People doubt him because of the competition that he played, even though he lit it up to a higher level than we ever saw from first-round draft picks like Trey Lance and Carson Wentz, Joe Flacco. And what's so beautiful is that he gets the chance now, even before going into the NFL, to really prove that he belongs in the conversation of one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And I think too, with not having a huge NIL collective initiative or anything like that, Coach Prime is recruiting players who understand the vision, that understand that it's about getting to the NFL. It's about finishing with a degree, or in some cases, getting your master's as well, all for free, and now while making a little bit of a living at the very least with NIL. And yeah, like this team is going to be bought in. I don't think I'm ever going to, or we're ever going to have to worry about a culture issue under Coach Prime, under here at the University of Colorado, where there are me first players and kind of all that, because he has a no nonsense mentality, and those me first players, they're going to be out of here. And similar to, again, this is like NBA stuff, but the Nuggets definitely weren't short of their own drama this year. They had a really up and coming guard, Bones Highland, that left the stadium in the middle of a game when he was criticized for not playing defense, and demanded a trade and talked bad about the players on Twitter, at his family members really dogging Jamal Murray and all that. And this whole thing was like, well, we got to just get rid of him, even though they didn't get a good return on him. It was about, addition by subtraction, about getting, making sure that the collective sum is all on the same page. And I think that's just kind of where my mind's been the last couple days, with seeing the Nuggets win this championship in the right way. It's kind of funny because, when I'm comparing the Nuggets build to what Coach Prime is, they're both organic, I guess, but it's done in a much different way. Of course, like, there's some big time recruits coming in, which, Denver's never had a big time free agency signing, or, Jamal Murray was their highest pick that they drafted at 7. Aaron Gordon was number 4, but, they traded for him. And at the time, that really wasn't seen as like a big trade by most. I thought it was big. But yeah, you're seeing a bunch of guys that are, they're kind of looked over. They've been looked over by their past college teams. They've been looked over by the media. They've been looked over because of, not doing this or that. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that's even though, like, this is, in my opinion, is going to be a much faster turnaround than what we've seen, like, with the Nuggets and the NBA, or with, other college football programs. It's going to be fast turnaround. I mean, that's what they saw. That's what we all witnessed at Jackson State. This is what some of y'all experienced at Jackson State and lived it every day. And but I don't think the fact that this is going to be fast is going to rob any joy from me personally. Like, I think the way in which Coach Prime is going about this, the authenticity about it, the bluntness, the like, not a care in the world type of attitude of like, I don't care what you think about my style. This is what I'm going to do, and these are the types of men that I'm going to bring in here. It's refreshing, it's attractive, it's organic, regardless of what people want to say. Them bringing in like 60 whatever transfers and to flip over the roster. This is, in my opinion, this is an organic rebuild. We don't have millions and millions of dollars to throw around to get guys to come here. And, we're really recruiting players that want to buy in to the values, what's expected, hard work, accountability, no excuses. It's going to be really exciting to watch. And I love to see that, we've seen this in other sports too. Even though the Kansas City Chiefs have some big time stars, they've never been, as a collective, they've never been like too larger than life, I guess. I mean, maybe Tyreek Hill, but I don't know about that. The man just wanted to get paid after winning a Super Bowl. I'm not going to blame him for that. You see with the Patriots, often, the parts are greater together than they are individually. And I think that's what I love about sports, is that you're going to see a bunch of different guys come in here with their own personal reasons of having a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to be able to find common ground, and that can just be the edge, that you need. These sports are more mental than people want to give, credit for. And if you can find that little extra edge to just get you to go a little bit harder, or to be locked in just, a percentage point more, it's going to pay dividends with wins on the field. And I think that's just what I am so looking forward to, is seeing this team bond, and seeing them support each other, and really build a team first culture, and see wins put on the board. But man, I got so many of y'all in here, so I'm going to take time to say hello, read some of your comments. Sadie Reacts, good to see ya. Let's see, Pot of Coffee, what's going on? Good to see you. Cheryl C says, yes, they're underdogs, which will make the victory even sweeter. Yeah, it's so refreshing when we see teams kind of win with that perspective of it, not just being like a super team type of thing. It's much more satisfying from that. SMOs, yeah, Coach Prime doesn't go for the me mentality, and he's not one of these coaches that is ever going to be dictated by the desires of some 18-year-old. Man, I was listening to, I think it was an Isaiah Thomas interview on Showtime. I think it might have been All the Smoke with Steven Jackson and Matt. It's not Matt Barnes. I can't remember. But anyways, Steven Jackson was saying how he was recruited from Indiana. From come on, who's that? Who's that legendary basketball coach? Y'all can help me out with this. From Indiana. Why can't I remember it? But anyways, he just called him up, Steven Jackson, whatever, and said, "Hey, are you going to come to Indiana?" And he's like, "I don't know." And that was all that this Indiana coach needed to hear. He's like, "Whatever, man. I'm gonna focus on Bobby Knight. Thank you, Kevin Pryor. Like my memory, and he was just no nonsense. Are you coming here or not? And if not, I'm gonna put my energy towards the people that want to reciprocate that. And I think that's what I love about this coaching staff is because some of these other college coaches, they don't have maybe they don't have the same luxury. Maybe they're just not built the same way, which is definitely true because Coach Prime is 1-on-1. But I think, man, like some coaches probably don't want to coach college because they don't want to, deal with, semi-professional, young men in some ways that can have the ability to dictate decisions on a team depending where they're at. But, what's great is that right now CU, has that true alpha there at the helm running the program. And I don't think that's ever going to be an issue. All right, I'm going to get back in here. Technically, yo, what's up? Good to see you. Coach G. Graham, thanks for chiming in. I appreciate it. Cheryl says there was drama, so to speak, with the JSU team on occasion, but the way it was handled, you never really knew. They handled their internal issues very well. Yeah, and it's really, man, it's hard when you have a football team of if you're including walk-ons, over 100 people, there's going to be crap every year. When you have that many individuals, in the same space, there's going to be drama, with a team that size. I mean, if it happens with basketball or there's 15 guys on the roster, it definitely happens with football. But what really speaks to, good coaches, people who create and manage good cultures is how they deal with those things. And do people shut their mouths, instead of, hashing it all out in the media, and I think you'll see that type of composure and character here. Rev BJ Nelson, good to see you. Does that stand for Reverend? If so, that's awesome. Nissimo is not anymore. Coach Prime's going to have all these guys' household names before they even take a snap. That's why he wants them post and start building them a brand. Yeah, start posting and building them a brand by selling shirts or whatever. Yeah, it's really cool to see how he really encourages the business aspect of going and getting your NIL. It's funny because he kind of has a nuanced perspective where he's not the biggest fan of the collectives. But if you're going to go out and make money off of your name and image and likeness, if I can get it out, he's a huge fan of that. And I love the entrepreneurial spirit that he has. And it's really cool because, there are classes that the CU athletes can take that will, where, they can get college credit, essentially for, working on their own personal NIL initiatives. That's something really rare that Rick George put into place just a couple years ago with NIL coming into the fold with things. And it's really cool to see that so many players starting to do their own things, and some of the players having partnered with some of Prime's family members and media partners to do that. It's I just love to see these athletes flourish, and this is going to be a place where so many people are going to be able to flourish. So many good stories to root for. So many people we're going and men we're going to see grow into their own. And I mean, the power of story in sports is just something that, I never get sick of. It's something that I love. It's why, even though, I can't really be a Lakers fan, as a Nuggets fan, but, Dr. Jerry Buss was the first one in the NBA that really understood the power of story in sports. People aren't going to just watch a game. They're going to watch like a live story unfold. They want to get to know the players. They want showtime, baby. And this with Coach Prime, it's gonna be prime time, baby. It's going to be a show where we get to see it unfold on Saturdays, but then we also get a one of a kind, unique look, behind the curtain at all these different players, how they're working, how they're growing, get to know them as like real people, because that's who they are. They're real people, and that's like the amazing thing about digital media now is that we have the ability uh, to see those things, and it's easier to get to know so many of these players than rather reading newspaper clippings like 20 years ago. So it's all so cool. And yeah, the culture here is going to be a huge reason. It's going to be the reason why they win. Of course, talent is a big deal, but if you don't have culture with that talent, that talent's going nowhere. And now they got the talent, they have the physical attributes to be a real competitive team in this conference this year. And now it's going to be up to the culture. Are they going to buy in? Are they all going to collectively believe in this culture together? And because if they don't win games this year, which I'm not expecting, by the way, it's not going to be because of X's and O's and different things like that. Like, these coaches are more than qualified to be doing what they're doing. That it's the culture is going to be why they succeed or don't. And I don't see why the culture would be a reason that they don't, that they wouldn't succeed. The basement. I have a critique for Deion Jr. When a receiver dropped a pass in practice, he sarcastically yelled, "Catch the ball, dog. How do you feel about sideline noise?" um, Man, I really appreciate you chiming in, the basement. That's cool. Um, I like a lot of that trash talk. I think especially with offense and defense, trash talking against each other. But there's kind of some nuanced things here, which is like, you really got to know your teammate. I think that's what it comes down to. Are your teammates going to take time to understand like what guys you can do that with? If that's going to help them lock in versus some guys, they need a little bit more, maybe like encouragement rather than like some of the clips that we've seen with Sal Sinceri, just talking mad amount of shit to those defensive linemen, and then we'll be like, yeah, good job. So like I don't particularly mind it, I guess, but it really does depend on you have to know who you're working with, and if your mentality isn't about building up your teammates to get them better, then that leads to issues within the culture. But if everybody's bought in and they know how to communicate with others in a way in which that's going to bring the best out in them, like that's what y'all need, or that's what they need. I mean, with what's been so cool about The Last Dance, now we no longer just have to read about it in the Jordan rules, is that we can see a little bit more of that with a lot of people would critique the way that MJ would talk and get under the skin of some of his teammates and would kind of tear them down. Now, personally, me, like, I'm too positive to work like that. That's not how I'm wired. But again, it comes to understanding your teammates, and some of those teammates, the ones that stuck it out and got better, such as Steve Kerr, like, they understood that was MJ's sign of trying to bring the best out in you. Sometimes it would cause a fight, Steve Kerr and MJ and whatnot. But yeah, I think I've said enough about that. Hope that was a somewhat of a satisfying answer. Let's see what y'all got to say about that. I'm going to scroll down here a little bit more. Let's see here. Yeah, it seems like a little discussion. Yeah, the basement said, "Okay, cool. I just feel Deion Jr. Be feeling himself sometimes and gets too familiar with his commentary while players are doing their best." Yeah. Oh, sorry. I had gotten confused. Thought you were talking about him like during his SMU days. Yeah, but if so you're saying like he was on the sideline like just getting video like saying come on dog to catch the ball. Oh man, well that that's a little bit more gray of an area I guess when you're not exactly a teammate. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that with cameramen piping up. Um, Man, yeah, yeah. Well, it's one thing coming from a teammate, it's another thing coming from a videographer. So I'm wondering what y'all think about that now. Cheryl C says, but did you notice at first he said, then he changed it up. My take is because he knows those coaches will watch the film. His first response was like a normal one. But trust me. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. But his next response was best for the player. I love that. So, okay. Yeah, I really appreciate your 2 cents on that as well, Cheryl C. I like that. Thanks for adding that. Mac Mill says JSU was a different breed, man. And man, I'm pumped to see what Coach TC does, man, with the team this year. Yeah, I haven't been following too closely, but I will assume they will be on on TV for some of the games this year. And let me know your thoughts on like what your expectations are for this year for them. I'd love to know. Coach G Graham, man, I love y'all too. Y'all are great. Vibe Season Sports, man, please subscribe to him. He's helped me work on this intro video for this sponsorship. I'm still trying to work out with my buddy Martez. He just needs to get the sign off from his lawyer. That sounds a lot fancier than like what this whole thing is. But soon you'll see an intro video start to happen with my channel, and big props for Vibe Season for helping put that together. And definitely, please go subscribe to his channel. He's got one of the best voices on YouTube for real. Cheryl C. And he didn't drop the ball next. I love that. I love that. See, there we go. I can't hate too much. Old School says, finally caught one of your lives. I appreciate it. Yeah, sorry. I usually try and schedule this out, but been going on through a big job interview this week. Had a 3-hour interview today. And, just it could be life changing for me. So I'm really hoping that, I nail it, Lord willing. But yeah, hopping back on the content now, which feels great. So really appreciate your support, Old School, with my channel. I have a lot of fun with this. You're right. He caught the second pass, man. Coach says, I love me some Coach Prime. He doesn't show or face fear. Absolutely. And I mean, the difference, man, when you're working with somebody who's confident versus someone who's like timid, unsure of themselves, like insecure, man, it makes all the difference in the world. And these guys not only have the chance to, be around somebody like that in the coaching space. I mean, I would say that Coach Prime's like one of the most confident and fearless people, like, in the last 100 years. You know what I'm saying? Like in all of humanity, like he's not afraid to go out and do anything. And he's so sure of himself in the way that he moves. That type of energy is just so infectious. So that's why the culture here is going to be some real special here. Let's see what else y'all got to say. Coach G Graham, I need prayer sent up for my Coach Prime. Call me jealous, but I need him at 100%. Yeah, did he go through another surgery lately? I've been a little out of the loop the last couple days with recovering from the Nuggets championship and prepping for this big interview. But man, Lord, we need Coach Prime in good health, man. He's got too much left to accomplish, man, to be anything less than 100%. Absolutely. Reverend BJ Nelson. That's awesome. I love that. I need more reverends in here. Mac Mill. Deion Jr. still has that natural football player in him. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he comes from football royalty. He's been around the game for so long. Yeah, he's going to talk like those players and teammates for sure. And heck, he might, now I'm thinking about it, thinking out loud, might spend more time around some of these teammates than some of the other teammates do, Cheryl C. I love Coach Sal. I do too. He's so throwback. And, all coaching staffs, I feel like, need that kind of guy. You got the good cops, you got the bad cops, you got the guys that are more like, the comforters, and then you got, the guys who are just like hard asses. And I mean, championship teams, they always have a hard ass, and at least, we need some of those on the field, and we need some of those in the coaching staff as well. And I love that. Like Coach Prime, I feel like he can be like all of them. And that's like what makes him so unique, is that he's able to identify what each player needs. I think it's really cool. People forget that Bucky is a football player before holding camera. Absolutely. That's a great point. Um, the basement says, I agree, David. I appreciate that. Big LT, good to see you. Awesome to see you. If Bucky wasn't there, you wouldn't see shit. And that's him, and people love it. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm very happy. I'm very happy he's doing this thing. Deion Jr. is still kind of salty because he didn't make the NFL. He still loves the game, wants to play. He's seeing his dreams through other people. Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think that's kind of a theme that you'll see with a lot of videographers, is that they, I think that's why a lot of them just fall in love with it and telling other stories, because um, maybe that's why I like doing this YouTube channel too, is because I mean, I'm not very athletic at all. I move pretty awkwardly, and I was never a great athlete, but covering it, and I can't imagine, being there covering it in person every day. You're really able to live some of your dreams, through those other people. And yeah, that's why videographers, man, there's just such special storytellers, man. They really are, because they're able to show it in a way that it's different than talking about it, and usually more impactful than just talking about it like what I do. It's a really like nuanced, rare skill to, it's more than just getting up tape. uh you know Bucky's an artist. Let's see, man, what else do y'all got to say? Man, Nesmos, I appreciate the prayers for the job. Yeah, like it would just be a huge deal, for me. And it's been something that I've been like real picky in my job interview process. Like even before I started this channel, like I've been looking for kind of a change of scenery for since January. So been super picky on like what I've wanted to move forward with and not. And I really feel like this is the right place. And hopefully they see that the same way. So that's what I'm just gonna hope for. So I really appreciate all y'all. The real big pit, man. It's good to see you in here, man. You've been so consistent, and it's great to see you here so often. So really appreciate you always being here. Mac Mill said yes, he had the other toe operated. Okay, man, yeah, prayers up for him. And he's going into surgery again this summer before the season. Yeah, we need him at 100%. Thank you, Sadie. Zion, what's up, man? Are you going to the parade tomorrow? I don't think I'm going to be able to, sadly. We were out downtown, right where those fireworks were sent off, over by View House, but we left at halftime because my wife wasn't feeling very well. And so we watched the second half and celebrated at home. But yeah, she woke up with a 101 fever yesterday. So I don't know if it's a cold, COVID, virus, whatever it is. I still feel great, which is awesome. But I think I'll end up staying home with her to watch the parade on TV. The biggest thing was like celebrating all this with her, because she's a really big Nuggets fan as well. We go to a lot of games, when we can watch the games together and all that. So she's not as much into football, which is funny, from Texas. But, yeah, like the Nuggets, like that's been like one of our big things that we bond over. And so it'll be a bummer not to go to the parade, but it's better to share the moments with the ones you love. Or like what did Jokic say? Winning the championship is nice, but what's really special is all the friends I made with my teammates along the way. as he's just chugging a beer. I love it. So, man, let's see what else y'all got to say. Coach Sal, Coach Brew, man, yeah, those are the hard asses that we need. Man, and when is a tight end going to come? When is a tight end going to commit? Coach Prime said he was giving out some of these JUCO uh, players at these tryouts or graduate transfers, some scholarships. I haven't seen anything yet. I've barely been on Twitter this week, but man, I'm hoping that we get a tight end in here soon, and like I can't wait for that, and we're gonna celebrate because we've been waiting on a tight end to come here, like yeah, I guess really ever since Zico, transferred out, but whoever comes in his place is gonna be a bulldog. I definitely believe it. Man, this is a cool comment by Cheryl C. Coach Sal is scary, but he makes me laugh. Exactly. I love people that make me laugh. Coach Brew is intense, but the entire staff is great. Yeah, I just have some favorites, and Coach Sal is one of them. Absolutely. And what's always so great is that usually like some of the more rough around the edge personalities, I mean, deep down, they're teddy bears. And I mean, that's just how their love manifests in some ways, which I'm always thinking about Shaq too, and like the whole thing with like him and Kobe, man, it was so unfortunate seeing that be played out in the media. And it was just so stupid, but Shaq's, he's like one of those teddy bears, man, and if he's hurt, he's just going to be ruthless, man, because he has such a tender heart deep down, in that big 7-foot body. He's a teddy bear deep down, and that's what some of these guys can be like, man, which I think is great. All right, Eva's mom says Coach Prime is really going through it lately with his foot. He's been in a lot of pain, surgeries on the table. Man, oh man, oh man. Well, man, well, I hope that they can get him the pain relief that he needs. Coach Prime doesn't strike me as a guy who probably publicly endorses any medical marijuana or anything like that. But, it's great that, he has access to a lot of different alternatives out here in Colorado than he would in other states. So I'm not sure if medical's legal where they're at in Mississippi, but yeah, hopefully he can get the pain relief that he needs. And if that, if surgery needs to happen, man, I just hope it's seamless. Andre Webb said, Prime said his recruiting strategy, I love this, was 40% transfers, 40% grad transfers, and 20% freshmen. CU is unexpectedly beating out big pocket collectives. I believe CU will have a 60% freshman, 60 for fresh. I can't talk. We'll have 60% freshmen at pace. We already have 9. Yeah, like the 24 class is really, really interesting. And there's so much more room to grow with this class. There's not going to be, I don't know if we'll ever see like moving forward, see them bring in like a ton of grad transfers now. But man, like that model, I think is pretty close to what it is like right now. I think about 20% of this team is freshmen, and then everybody else is legit a transfer or a holdover. So he's pretty close to those numbers. If you group the 40 and 40 together, it's going to be really interesting to see like how they approach recruiting from a high school and transfer standpoint, like moving forward. Because I really do think the way to continue to win, it's probably controversial, but it's definitely, being involved in that transfer portal, moving forward too. Not just this year, but, bringing in dogs every year, and I just want to point this out, Colin Simmons, like the top linebacker in the 24 class that took CU like out of his top 10 or 12, 8, whatever it was. Yeah, I saw that he is going or went on an official visit. Maybe it's coming up this weekend. Yeah, he's going to SMU, and I mean, that's great for SMU. I'm a big fan of seeing them kind of come back into the fold in college football. But they're doing it a different way, and now that they can get all that big time money out there legally now, um, I'm not shocked at all to see an AAC team like that hosting a number one recruit in the country, because they're going to be shelling out the money for sure, and it's gonna be a little bit different than what we have here. And it's going to be exciting to see like how those teams, are built differently, and how that plays out. I am hoping that SMU can make it into a Power Five because, I think that they belong, in the best competition in college football, and especially with NIL, man. They just got sloppy with their money. I mean, that's just what it is. The rest of the uh, Southwest Conference schools weren't as sloppy, and honestly, they probably were helping to target another school so that attention wasn't on them. And it's nice that we have a little bit more of an honest playing field now when it comes to that, but we still need some more, I think, structure around NIL to some extent. That's a whole nother conversation, though. Coach G. Graham says, Coach Sal is something bigger than you can imagine. He envisions opportunities one step at a time. I love Coach Sal. Absolutely. Absolutely. He kind of reminds me, I guess they're both like Italian. I'm guessing Sal Sinceri's Italian. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, like Coach Vic Fangio here with the Broncos. Never really worked out, but that's just because we didn't have a good quarterback. It really just comes down to that. But he was intense and cutthroat, but at the same time, still super lovable. I love Vic Fangio. DJ, good to see you. Thanks for chiming in. I don't think people really understand the little changes that have made a significant difference. A cleaning lady hugged Prime and thanked him from her soul in one of the well-off videos. That's major. Dude, wow. Man, you're so right. Like those little details, and that really speaks to the culture, man. Like what it's all about, the culture. Absolutely. And when you have people that are part of the cleaning crew or putting together the food to where like they feel part of the program, that's how you're doing things right. Man, it was really cool to see a little while ago. I was watching that new Barack Obama series on Netflix about work. Really interesting, and he was talking about how um, one of the top executives in Kodak at the time had started as a janitor, and how a lot of the models now for offices and companies are where they don't hire or staff their own like facilities staff. It's outsourced from like a third party company, and even though those jobs are staffed, it actually limits the access and opportunity people have starting in one place to get to the other. Now that's more happening now. I'm pretty sure like man, yeah, so I wonder if CU kind of outsources some of that too. At my alma mater at Abilene Christian, yeah, it's like all the food services were part of something else, of another company, Aramark, I think. But yeah, it's like that type of model. This is a tangent, it really limits people's ability to, really showcase, their true potential in a lot of ways. And I hope that that's something that Coach Prime can continue to change around here. And that means a lot. And that's a big deal, seeing people like that, hug Coach Prime. That, I'm not going to say what happened with other staffs, but it is easy to overlook people behind the scenes and take them for granted. And I'm not surprised to hear that something like that's happening with Coach Prime. Not at all. It's major. You're right. The Basement chiming in here saying, I think Deion Jr.'s video coverage of CU has been responsible for at least 10% of the recruits deciding to come to the school. Absolutely. Like, it's so unique. It hasn't, to my knowledge, really been replicated in the way that he's doing it, which is super cool. And yeah, like you're going to find people that are captivated by the way in which he tells stories. And it's truly unique. And again, like, it kind of reminds me of Jerry Buss, in some ways, of just Coach Prime's coming in here and like understanding that, yes, like the ultimate goal, it's all about winning, but it's winning with like showcasing the story. You understand? Like all these people, they can just miss that. But he like brings the right creative approach to this. He's a businessman, but he's also a creative. And it when that mixes with sports, it really leads to like unique cultures and dynasties. Like, let's be honest about that. Coach McMill, Colorado making noise here in 2023. Absolutely. Basement. So make no mistake, he's doing a great job. Absolutely. But I mean, nobody's above criticism. I don't think that question that you asked was wrong in any ways. I hadn't even heard about it, but I don't think that anything goes perfectly either. I mean, there's been a couple questions that I've had on Coach Prime, and like, again, like this whole thing with Zico, it's like, why the hell did it happen? Just why? Like, this, y'all should have been on the same page with the staff from day one about expectations on both ends, and it seems like everybody's time got wasted. But man, like, those are like little things in the grand scheme of things. Like, no one runs things perfectly, and overall, I mean, A+ job so far. That's why I want to give Coach Prime an extension, man. I don't care if it's unprecedented. The results are already there, man. Like, money shows how much you're valued. That's why I'm looking for more work too. you know, and I don't care if Coach Prime's net worth is like 100 million or whatever. Like, yeah, this is a tangent too, but with people saying that Donald Trump, they need to like Donald Trump because they, he couldn't be bought, or like, he wasn't in. It's like, I've never met a wealthy person that doesn't want more money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not to say that, and I'm not like trying to compare Coach Prime and Donald Trump. Definitely not. But what I'm trying to get at is like, man, stop joking that people just want to do stuff for charity. That professionals don't want to do things, for money. And I'm not saying that people don't take a pay cut. I mean, you've seen Tom Brady do it, but he made up for it with endorsements. You saw the Spurs do it a lot to keep that dynasty together and win 5 championships. But they're still getting paid, and I think I would love for CU to continue to show that type of love and appreciation to Coach Prime. Money is a part of doing that, and they should not take it for granted. He's underpaid right now. There's no way in hell that he should be paid less than Matt Rule. I don't care that he hasn't coached a Power 5 college football game yet. Like, he's outperforming Matt Rule already. Zion, they need to add a 4-star tight end for that 24 class, man. I'm getting kind of annoyed, right? That's why I'm just wondering, like, at this point, do you just say screw it, man, and throw one of those offensive linemen out there, man? Like, I really do wonder if that's the plan, man. Are we just going to throw the offensive linemen out there? If we're not going to use them in the passing game, and we're going to throw like a total of like 8 targets to our tight ends throughout the year, just put a 6th offensive lineman in there. Let's be real. You football people, let me know what you think about that, because I'm not a football guy. I'm just David Talks Buffs. Coach G. Graham, Coach Kelly for president. He's a leader and a dog for show. He will prove why Saban chose him. And sad he lost him. Jaquez Robinson is that dog. Man, you are so right. And I'm so excited for Jaquez. And he has such an infectious personality. I love that about him. And again, like, the beauty about all this whole show that's going on is that we really get to know these players. And man, that's something special. And I love this kind of alliance, so to speak, that Coach Saban and Coach Prime have going on, man. Like, the fact that, yeah, like, Coach Saban's been cool, with, seeing Charles Kelly come out here and, taking some of their, transfer players. It's a big deal. And, I feel like we've been in some recruiting battles with them for some players, and then some like not. I don't know if that's just coincidence, but part of me wonders if there's kind of like a truce on like, Coach Prime. I'll let you have Coach Kelly, but just stay off these guys, because he's a darn good recruiter. I don't know. That's just my conspiracy theory. But I mean, when I'm doing that in my dynasty fantasy football leagues, trying to make these, side deals and stuff like that. I mean, people who are actually like doing sports for a living, they got these side deals going on and all that. Mac Mill, yeah, Zico could not handle Coach Brew, man. And what was so funny is that like his commentary on Zico was like all it was honest and like encouraging. Like he never spoke down about him. So maybe there are things, behind the scenes that just where he just wasn't vibing, with Coach Brew. That's like what it had to have been, man. Because again, I don't care if you're 230 pounds or whatever. Like, all Shannon Sharp said was at the tight end position, blocking is just all about desire. That's really it. You should be able to reach some standard. And yeah, that whole thing was just so bizarre, man. Just give Coach Sal Italian food. He'll be okay. Yeah. Boulder's got some Italian, plenty of good Italian food around here. So he should be quite satisfied. We're lacking a little bit in the barbecue, but the taco game out here is good. You can get good, fried chicken out here, all the Americana type food, plenty of great burger joints, beer places, all that. But man, we're lacking in the barbecue. But that's why, man, we need some people coming out here, maybe with Coach Prime, to open up some barbecue or like soul food places, because this place loves food. Colorado, like we love food. Okay. Like we really do. There are just some styles of food that we just don't cook very well. And we need those people to come in here. Please, if there would be a place that I could enjoy having barbecue from here, with, that would be great. Sorry, if one of y'all Colorado people listen to this are like, man, I love Colorado barbecue. I've just never been blown away. Got to be honest. Those let's see. Oh, those doctors are talking about maybe a amputation of the foot. What? He doesn't have feeling in the foot? No. Man, no. We can't have that. We cannot have that. No. Man, no, we don't need that. So yeah, we got to be praying for him. Coach G. Graham, he is holistically unscarred, but I just love him so much. He is the real deal. Don't know if you're talking about Coach Brew or Coach Sal, but either way, I agree. 24 class, we're at 8. Whoever's saying 9 is incorrect. Thank you, Zion. Nonetheless, this is the beginning of it all, man. And man, this running back that we got, man, Welch, man, that guy's exciting. I love that guy. That guy can Clinton Portis, man. Clinton Portis. I love that guy. Let's see here. Coach Prime is God's promise to for CU. He's human, but he trusts God. Yeah. And as man, I guess I never told like y'all much of this, but when I went to Abilene Christian, I was like a theology major or like a religious studies major. I was like really into that. I was thinking maybe I'd be a pastor or whatever. That personally, the life in the pulpit, it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. But I still like. There's still so much about my time studying that and doing all the ancient languages and reading Greek and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun, man. And yeah, it's like Coach Prime is CU's Moses. Like he's going to lead us to the promised land. And, he's a fun guy to get behind. And, yeah. And because of the way that he is, it's kind of like that religious following, like people are going to like be all in with him or, they're not going to be for it, just like we see, like Moses, I guess, he's our Moses for real. Let's see. Mac Mill, y'all notice when Coach Sal picked who was the fastest? That was the end of it. They knew he was going to be like line up. I love that. I haven't seen that, but I can imagine it in my mind. I love that. Oh, random moment. Yeah, Bill Carroll did confirm with me just now that he'll be on for my live stream tomorrow. He's an NFL draft scout. Also covers director of scouting, particularly for the scouting service that he works for, HBCU. So he'll be able to talk about a lot of the players and their NFL potential, including some of the guys that we have come over here from Jackson State, which is super exciting. So that'll be at 7 Mountain Time tomorrow, 7 p.m. Really excited about that. Like, Bill Carroll's freaking awesome. He's a really big deal. And yeah, y'all are gonna love him. Super intelligent guy. Like, knows his shit. I love it. Mac Mill, Dylan is the smallest on the team. It was funny seeing him stick up for his little self. Man, I got to catch up on this. Dylan Edwards getting in it. Coach Prime equals spirit. Absolutely. Cheryl C. Savion. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Is it Savion? I think it's Savion. It's got to be Savion, right? Just right at home, and I love to see it. Man, yeah, I've been needing to get an individual video out on him, but man, he's a special running back, and I think that he could be like the workhorse starting running back at a lot of Division I schools around here. And man, I'm just so thankful and grateful to have him coming here to really round out this backfield. They all have different skill sets and bring something different to the table, but he's going to be one of those main guys they rely on this year. Absolutely. And again, man, bringing more veterans in here, guys that have playing experience, like, it's only going to allow people to play looser, play within themselves. Like, and when we need to rely on Dylan Edwards to go make a play, when, we need Adam Hopkins to go up there and do something, or Marion Miller, or freaking Cormani McLean, those guys coming in here, like, they can go and make that play playing loose, because they know, like, this whole season and this whole show is not on their shoulders. Like, they're a part in the sum, they really are. And these guys, man, they're just here for good vibes, man. Really rounding out this team. Oh, Nesimo's David, you coming to Life in Football tonight for Charlie Offerdahl interview? Oh my God, I did not know that. I need to take a look into that, because again, like, I've kind of been out of the loop the last, really just like the last week or so. I've been trying to be into it, but again, with the Nuggets championship run, celebrating that, all that, then preparing for this interview, I haven't been like as on top of things as I like to be, if that makes sense. But that's going to be one I definitely have to tune into. I hope Charlie sticks around. I don't think that he'll be given a scholarship right now, though. Sorry, man. But hey, if he proves me wrong, I'm happy to eat my crow. Okay, I think I missed that. What the not all right, man. Oh man. Coach G Grand, Dave Stam, start twerking right now. Go Nuggets, man. Absolutely. It feels so surreal. I've just I think I've listened to like every press conference and celebration like multiple times. And yeah, like, it's just surreal, man. And it's gonna feel so satisfying as well, man, when the Buffs get there, and when Coach Prime gets there, and all the haters. What I really want to do is like be bookmarking your when people are doubting this team, because what I want to do at the end of the year is like have a party where, like, y'all can come on here and read like all the bookmarks that y'all have, and like put all the haters on blast. And it's just going to be awesome to see, man. Like, all the narratives against Jokic were just such BS this year because no one watched him. Like, that's like really what it was. And you see a lot of that, as I've said in the past, you see that same type of unprofessionalism, lazy, casual takes happen within the media, because I guarantee you, if people who are supposed to be doing their jobs within the like NBA world aren't even watching, the back-to-back MVP the last couple of years, actually play. We know for a fact people in football media are judging this team off of never even watched these guys play. Like, they have no idea who Alton McCaskill is. They have no idea how good Shedeur Sanders was at Jackson State, starting from the time he was a true freshman. You know, none of these guys can appreciate. You know, they have not watched these players play. We must remember that. And man, my parlay with Nuggets winning the title and CU Buffs winning more than 3.5 games looking real good right now. And I would expect better from Vegas. But hey, maybe they were casual too, it seems like. Ooh, Aaron, this is a really great comment. Without well off, I would not be as interested as I am. I'm a forever Coach Prime fan. I was a primetime fan. I live in Georgia. Wherever Coach Prime goes, I'm there, period. I love that. Yeah. And what's so funny is that, like, I mean, I'm being introduced like to this probably so much later than y'all. But yeah, it's like I'm a Coach Prime fan now too. Like, and you know, I'm just not wired in a way in which I get like really bitter when people move on to other things. I hope that Coach Prime can be here, a coach for life or for a really long time. That's my hope. But if he were to ever leave, man, like if he were to leave tomorrow, man, like I'm already so appreciative and indebted to him, like as a fan with what he's done with this program. And I'm going to be a fan of his, you know, wherever he goes. And what's going to be cool is that, you know, y'all will still probably have an eye on, CU as well, because, if he ever leaves CU, at some point they're going to be left in good hands, and, it's going to be someone from that Coach Prime coaching tree, and that's going to be fun to watch. Aldog author prediction week 1 versus TCU. Well, right now the line is like -21, which is ridiculous, but I'm not going to say I have a full scouting report on TCU other than the fact that I know that they have a huge downgrade in quarterback, in my opinion, as well as their top wide receiver. And I mean, they played well against, let's see, was it Michigan? They beat Michigan, to get to the college football playoff. But I think they take care of business. I really do think they get that win. But probably the most conservative prediction I can give you is that, just bet that line, man. I don't see them losing by 21. There are some things that I think are just willed. And I just can't see Coach Prime like seeing these guys get outclassed like that, even if they lose. Like, it's not going to be in that sort of fashion. It's just not. And yeah, like they got too many guys here that have already played college football, that have so much experience. I was talking about Tulane a little while ago, like last week, and a reason that they were able to make that jump from 2-10 to Rose Bowl champions over USC was they had a true freshman quarterback, start his freshman and sophomore year, and then took a big jump his junior year. And I think you're going to see that with Shedeur as well. He's going to take a jump from the player he was last year, even in the Power 5 this year. So I'm not saying he's throwing in, 40 touchdowns, but the way in which he plays we're going to see growth and progress. 3rd year in college football, starting. You can't discount that. Whereas, TCU, they have a big question mark at the quarterback position. And, there are certain teams that can get by with average quarterback play, but those are the elite of the elite. And, some of those teams make really average quarterbacks look really great, like Stetson Bennett. He's, in my opinion, TCU had Max Duggan. I don't know. They lost a lot of guys, and I think if you don't have the best quarterback on the field in the matchup, more likely like you're set up, you should be favored to lose. Maybe that's too simplistic for some of y'all football people, but that's how I like to view it. Let's see what else I got here. Please stay away from politics. I will hurt y'all. That fool number 45. Sorry y'all went there. Nah, man. Don't worry, Coach G Graham. We're on the same side there, man. Don't you worry. And yeah. There are some things, man, that just happen that it's like I just cannot believe that this is reality. And man, that's just oh man, that's a whole nother case study, probably for a politics channel if I started at some point, right? Mac Mill, did I see a barbecue video they had a few days or weeks back? It was cool and funny. No, I need to see this. Tag me on Twitter. Man, Nicholas Braxton coming in here saying the bands are the best part of HBCU football. Yeah, I know Coach Prime's getting to, trying to get our CU band, play with a little bit more flair and all that. You can't replicate that. We can't replicate what HBCU bands got going on. That is truly something special. You know. Man, but it would be nice if we could still upgrade our sound system. We upgraded it like a year or two ago, and it is not up to standard still. We need some more money for that. Patricia, I feel like his family also. I got emotional watching the video about his health, man. My goodness, okay. Man, I need to catch up a lot this week. It's good that I took this week off from work. Man, I know I'm like way behind. He doesn't have feeling in his feet. Man, this is not good. My interview sounds exciting. Yeah, trying to get into like a strategy, like business strategy consulting role. So yeah, it should be like a lot of fun where I do like a lot of like interviews and talking with people. So it's kind of what I wanted to do more after I graduated from CU, and it's just kind of been hard to break in right after COVID. So I kind of have a non-traditional background. I ran a coffee business for a couple of years, was in cafe management before my MBA, roasted coffee during, my time at CU. But, it's some companies kind of view my different background as a negative rather than a positive. And that's why I've been so picky with interviewing now, is just like Coach Prime, like I'm wanting to find people that, that kind of reciprocate the same values, that, look beyond like a box score, so to speak, or like, oh, I don't have direct experience doing this exact thing. But it's like, man, like, I show the ability to be fearless and to try new things and to think outside the box and to approach things, from, with like a curious mindset. I had a role like that in the past, but I had to move on just because they weren't able to pay me enough. And kind of the place I'm at right now, it's more of one of those things where I'm just there to do my job type of thing, rather than do something that like is like really impactful. So I'm like hella excited for this, and I hope it works out. And I think I would have a lot of fun there. So I've talked to 4 people now there, and I'm feeling really good about it. It's a really small company. It's like 20 people, but it's right here in Boulder, and it would be, I'd be in office most of the days actually, but it's right there off of Folsom. So it's right there by campus, which is so cool. So maybe I'd be able to run into some more of the players or coaches or, people involved in the media. Hey, maybe at some point, if I get a press credential, I can get into practice at some point. It'd really mean a lot. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Mac Mill, bandwagon fan and proud. Absolutely. Shout out to Chief X sending me some beautiful merch. Proud bandwagoner. Yeah. What is it? Bandwagonerbuff.com, I think it is. Like, this is solid. I've been needing a black snapback, and now I can rep this. Kind of feels a little funny, since I went to the school. I don't know if I can call myself a bandwagoner, but I'll support the brand, man. I'll support it. And all y'all are part of Buffs Nation, man. We're going to enjoy this together, man, because we're all starting from scratch, man. We're all starting from 1-11, man. Shador, 50 TDs, absolutely. He threw 37 last year, and TCU's defense is trash. Yeah, man. Like Shador is gonna shock a lot of people, man, because you can't train with Tom Brady and be trash. And oh my God, Cheryl C, bringing up something that's been in the back of my mind this week. Javon Antonio, holy moly, this guy looks terrifying out there. This guy's like making one-handed catches out there, looking like Calvin Johnson or Demaryius Thomas. Like, man, he is a big boy. I saw that one of my fellow alma mater, Taylor Gabriel, went to Abilene Christian, played for the Atlanta Falcons. He was like stiff back. Man, I don't care if he's looking a little stiff, man. The man is 6'4", like 250 pounds of like all muscle, right? I mean, the guy is just enormous. And that speed, man, like, man, I feel like he's faster than what we were reviewing on his huddle tape. Am I right? Like, man, I mean, Travis Hunter probably won't like to hear this, but it's like, man, do we need him playing full-time receiver? I don't know how these defenses are going to cover this team. I'm not a huge X's and O's guy. Like, I'm trying to learn more about that side of things, like in my free time. But like when I just look at the athletes that they got, I mean, and knowing like the Pac-12 is not known for their defense, man. Like Shador's going to eat. Speaking of that, Nicholas said Shador's a surgeon. He'll continue to get better as the season goes. He has the skill position to play his way, which is short passes down the field with the occasional deep shots. That's right out of the Tom Brady school of quarterbacking. And that's what's so exciting, man. And that's going to save him from getting hit a lot, And that's, why guys like, if Peyton, didn't lose, feeling in his hands, people don't realize that probably if you didn't follow the Broncos closely, he only had partial feeling in his throwing hand like that last year. He never regained full feeling in his throwing hand after the neck surgery. And it got kind of considerably worse as he played his years in Denver, which just makes it all that more impressive with what he was able to accomplish in Denver. But all that to say, if it wasn't for that neck injury, Peyton Manning probably would have played into his 40s as well. I would assume it was probably been a Colts quarterback the whole time. Maybe they would have won a couple Super Bowls, a couple more, and we'd still be stuck with Tim Tebow. Right. Jaquez Robinson is about to have a football rebirth. Absolutely. I can't wait for it. Darren Jennings, absolutely right. Javon Antonio, man, he's looking like a stud. Coming over here he was playing Division II ball, I believe. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with the background of every player, where they're from, because you got like 80 guys that you need to know. Like, all those guys are new. Mac Mill, get that money from YouTube. Yeah. Man, I'm trying, man. I'm really trying to grow this thing I mean, it would still be a dream, to do this, one day, full time, but yeah, we'll see where that goes. But right now I kind of have my eyes set on this gig right now, with this kind of, being my other my supplementary part-time gig, which I have a lot of fun with. Team Prime, absolutely. Countdown Timer, good to see you. I'm laughing about what you said, David. You're not a bandwagon buff. Yeah, absolutely. Like, but man, I want to support all y'all. Like, seeing like all the brands and the creativity and stuff like this come out of here, like, it's a lot of fun. And I think you're gonna like the stuff that my friend Martez puts together for this clothing line that I'm working with him on. And I just want to support it. So if y'all ever want to send me stuff, I mean, yeah, y'all do it and I will rep it. Let's see. Countdown timer. Javon will be a problem for cornerbacks. Absolutely. Like, this guy's a beast. And it always blows my mind, like, how guys like even just that big, that size, like fall to the Division II level. Like, did they just have late growth spurts? Is that like what it was, right? I mean, I'm not really sure. Demarius Thomas, great comparison. Thank you. Yeah, like, man, this guy can move. People forget. Let's see. Coach Prime had his choice between USF, yes, in Florida, Colorado chose CU, and back to the TCU. I think it was confirmed, right, that he did interview for that TCU job before they gave it to Sonny Dykes. So Coach Prime is going to be coming out with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to communicate that to the team. He wants to go inside TCU's house and take care of business. Embarrass them in their own house. That's how it needs to be done. And I'm really hoping that all of these Prime fans, that populate the state of Texas really show up and make it like a home crowd feel for TCU. Cause I mean, it was great. Everybody loves the underdog and all that, it was cool to see TCU in the national championship and whatnot. It wasn't fun to watch it. Obviously, it was like one of the ugliest championship games I can remember in recent memory. But they got a small alumni base, and they did not travel very well out there. And I mean, I'm sure there'll be, a lot of hype around going into the season, just because what they accomplished last year. But I mean, it would be cool to see a lot of the new Buffs fans kind of have that Nebraska mentality of traveling and, filling out other opponents' arenas, like they do so often. And I mean, with that first game being right there in Fort Worth, I mean, all these primetime Cowboys fans, I'm sure some of y'all are in here, man. Like, they're going to be at that game in the black and gold, baby. That's what needs to happen. A battle of the bands, CU versus CSU, will never be as exciting as Grambling versus Southern. But the Golden Buffaloes marching band needs to add to its repertoire. Man, Val, I believe you with that, man. And it was cool being at the spring game and that the band was there, man. But sometimes it's like, do we got to play Queen, every time, or can we mix it up a little bit? I mean, I feel like every school I've been to, and I guess they're predominantly white institutions, both ACU and CU, but it's like all the bands just play the same songs. It's like, that's how I feel, other than the fight song. Yeah, we got to mix it up a little bit. Nicholas says he has good speed, but DT was a burner. He reminds me of Dez Bryant, Alshon Jeffrey. Yeah, those are other like really good comps. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, because DT definitely had a little bit more speed than both of those guys, for sure. Countdown timer. This team will shock a lot of teams. I hope they have a couple of trick plays for TCU. Absolutely. Should be a lot of fun. Lawrence Collins, good to see you. What I miss a lot. We've been talking a lot about culture. Let's see, Coach Prime, Lord willing, does not lose his foot. That would be freaking terrible. Otherwise, man, we got to get him a robotic foot, because we can do that these days. We can't have him in a wheelchair. No, sir. We cannot have that. That's why Shador's QB coach told him to go with the first person he sees open. Don't hesitate. Yeah, that decisiveness, and that's why it's important to know your reads pre-snap. Be able to identify the coverages, the defenses, the disguises that they might be trying to throw. Because if you can identify, who's going to be open, you can, more than likely you can get that out to your first read and not have to take any contact. That's why, man, I got high hopes for Shador, man, because his best asset, I believe, is his brain. He's incredibly smart, and he can dissect these defenses. So let's see, what time is it? I'm just going to go for a few more minutes here. So I'm going to scroll through some. Let's see here. VH, good to see you. What's the weather like in the summer in Denver? Amazing. 70s, 80s, sunny most days. We've been getting like a ton of rain over the last few months, more so than we've ever had when I've lived here, which has been great because we won't have to worry about fires out here. And it's wonderful. It's really easy to be out here all day. You do have to make sure that you're drinking water more often than when you're at sea level, because again, the altitude dehydrates you. And since the atmosphere is thinner, it's kind of hard for me to explain, but it's like this sounds dumb. This sounds dumb, but it's the best way that I can explain it. But it's like you feel closer to the sun when you're here, which it's like, yeah, no duh, David, you live, a mile high above, but like you feel it. So, not to say it ever feels like Texas or any of that, no, but there are some days where like it can feel like hot and you're like, oh, like it's only 85. But overall, man, like the days are long here. It's so much fun to get out and get into the rivers, go to the lakes, hike in the mountains. Especially like at night, it cools, so you can put your sweater on. It gets into the 50s and 60s at night. It's how it is in the mornings as well. And if it rains here, normally it's not like one of those things where it rains all day. Again, more so right now, that's kind of been like what's happening more, which has been, it's not common. That's just how it's been right now. But usually it's like, yeah, you'll get a storm or like a shower in the afternoon, and that'll be it. And then it will be sunny the rest. So it's hard to be in a bad mood living out here. One of the reasons I did want to live and move out here was just because, the 300 days of sunshine, it's a real thing. And I'm a happier person when the sun is out, and the winters here are pretty mild compared to what I grew up with in Illinois in the Midwest. And the snow melts quickly, even if we get a lot. And that's what I love about it. So the summers here, it's an amazing time to be here. If you travel here, like what I really suggest is like coming early fall, like getting here like after Labor Day, but before like early November or so. Like that's the best time because all the vacationers are gone in the mountains, and there's more room in like the national parks and stuff like that. I don't have to like worry about parking or anything like that. It's a really good time to get out here and have some fun. Anquan Bolden, dude, I love that comp for Javon Antonio. That's great. Nicholas says, I think the wideout room will be led by Antonio if he keeps it up with pads on. Man, wouldn't that be a story if he jumps all those guys, all those dogs? Man, I mean, what a story. That would be the story of the year, I feel like. It'd be fun. Brandon Marshall, yeah, a lot of like Brandon Marshall again, like didn't have the most speed, but man, like really knew how to high point the ball. Great hands. Man, he was one of my favorite Broncos. Man, Lawrence Collins, man. Thanks so much for catching me up. Dave Talks Buffs. Yeah, absolutely, Lawrence. I really appreciate your constant tuning in here. Mac Mill, I don't know what I made you laugh about, but I hope I made you laugh. Or I'm glad I made you laugh. Darren Jennings, will Alton be ready? Absolutely. He's like, 16 months removed from this ACL? He's good to go. Crystal Williams, hey, I'm so late. Well, that's okay. I didn't even, this is a, what do you call it? Like a spur of the moment one, a spontaneous live stream. So we've been going for quite a while, but it's been a lot of fun. Definitely go back and watch the replay. I would appreciate that. And let's see, what's my record prediction? I haven't given like an official record prediction yet. I don't know if I will, but I'll say this. There are not any excuses for why this team shouldn't be bowl eligible. And there's definitely scenarios in which I see them being one of those top teams in the conference. I don't know if that's the most likely, but I think like they play 5 teams that had losing records last year. Some other teams that I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little skeptical about Oregon State. They're solid though. We'll see how DJ is a quarterback for them. TCU again, is taking a step back. There's like real potential to get close to double-digit wins, and but I think you're gonna need to win 10 plus games. Well, if you're counting out a conference, like it's in the conference for the conference title. But let me rephrase this. I think the teams that you'll see in the conference title have won double-digit games. And yeah, we'll see how I'm feeling here in a bit. But I did put that parlay on Nuggets title and having more than 3.5 wins. Definitely. Is Cormani on campus right now? He better be. I mean, he should be, right? Yeah, y'all let me know. Mac Mill, I love when it snows in Denver, but it only feels like 65 degrees. Yeah, absolutely. Like the weather out here is great, and because of the lack of humidity, man, like you can be outside in colder temperatures and it's not bad. The only time it is bad is when you got a big gust of wind coming off those mountaintops. Like that's when it can suck. Or it's coming in from the north and it's blowing in all the smells of like the farms and the ranches and the cattle from freaking Greeley, and it just smells nasty. Like sometimes you'll get that out here, but overall, like it's really easy to be outside. And again, like it's been a lot more fun and easy for me to be active out here, and that's what I love. It's a great place to live. Again, the big cost of it is that, I'm looking at a $300,000 mortgage minimum for like a half decent condo out here, which is just insane. I never thought that'd be that, but I am comfortable with living in smaller spaces, to overall be happy. 12-0, Mac Mill. I need that energy. Inject it into my veins. Too many guys on the team to not win big. Absolutely, Crystal Williams. And oh shoot, my mama's giving me a call. She probably wanted to know how my job interview went. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this and give her a call back. But man, 80 minutes flew by. Really appreciate everybody in here. The Waddy Way USCD is going to be second wind. Absolutely. Hey, really appreciate everybody chiming in. Like, it's really cool to see, not even planning this, to see just pretty much like 50 people or so hanging out like this whole time. And I love having dialogues with y'all. So I know soon I'll have to get y'all on to where like y'all can call in. And that's something from Big Dog Chico that I've wanted to adopt as well. So, and seeing him do it kind of shows me how it can be done. So yeah, I got to answer mom. Can't disappoint mom. So we'll win all home games in my opinion. You're right. No SCO zone, but hey, all of y'all are fantastic. Thank you so much for your patience with me. I know I haven't had the videos out as much as I want to, but I'm past all the humps. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for my interview with Bill Carroll, NFL draft scout, director of scouting for HBCU scouting for, it always skips my brain, the scouting service that he works for, but y'all are going to love Bill Carroll. So thank you so much, everybody. And I will see you all tomorrow.